This video will detail Caitlin Clark and how she is a phenom both on and off the court. Her abilities, her without fear attacking style to take over games and maestro her team with precision. Much like when Larry Bird came to the NBA 45 years ago, Caitlin has started another tidal wave of excitement and new possibilities. Whether it's kids playing in their driveway or their neighborhood court, the school gym, all the way up through the huge arenas of college and beyond, there's a new paradigm that is whispering or perhaps shouting to many of the kids and adults alike. What may be different with Caitlin as compared to Bird and Magic and their profound effect on the popularity of March Madness and soon thereafter the NBA is how much Caitlin is affecting the game at all ages. Whether it's the Pee-wee leagues of kids who are 3 to 6 years old, or the cute new term I've seen being used, the little dribbler leagues, to the girls and the boys youth basketball leagues, and then up through middle school years, high school, through college, and yes, culminating in the pros. All these age groups are experiencing their own fun and thrill of watching Caitlin, as well as the many other athletic, skillful women players in college and the pro level. And then next, as if that wasn't already a huge thing, is the awesome way that Caitlin Clark is becoming a major role model for the young girls and boys. While it's true that this is hard to quantify, nevertheless, she's proven to the kids in real life, unfolding in front of them, that when you put your best foot forward and play and practice with passion, perseverance, and fun, you can do great things. It's okay to practice hard and look to be great at what you do. Here's a time to recognize the quite profound developmental years of Caitlin, who from West Des Moines, Iowa. Her parents always reportedly told their kids that they could be successful if they put in the effort. As a young girl between the ages of 4 and 8, Caitlin played sports primarily with her two brothers, as well as other boys in the local leagues. Many stories are told of her always wanting to be with her brothers and then live up to whatever they were doing. As Caitlin moved through her adolescent years, she soon found opportunities to play with other girls, but often these girls were either older or were playing on select teams. Caitlin was a star player throughout her grade school and high school years. She came out of her Dowling Catholic High School as the 4th highest rated player in the country. She chose eventually to stay home and play at the University of Iowa, which was just a 2-hour drive there to Iowa City. Her accomplishments during her 4 years at the University of Iowa would fill multiple pages on any resume. Perhaps instead of listing some or most of these many accomplishments, let's keep our attention here on Caitlin as a person. Let's keep our eye on how Caitlin competes, how she loves to play this team game of basketball. And finally, let's be alert to how she interacts with the fans, and most specifically, how she consistently demonstrates her commitment to positively affect young girls and boys. Caitlin certainly plays this game with passion, whether it's fist pumping after huge moments in the game, or when she's responding in the moment to great plays by extending her arms out and as she runs the court, exhorting the entire crowd to wildly celebrate in this one moment together. Yes, she loves to seize these moments, these emotions, and push these sold-out arenas into a wild and full frenzy. How many times have we heard or seen Caitlin yelling out to the crowd, "Come on!" in highlight moments as she's running down the court? Whether it's leading the game's fans in celebration or her dominance of the mental side of the game, she carefully and seemingly intuitively knows where and how to orchestrate her game. The passing angles that Caitlin so incredulously and consistently is able to take advantage of as she's breaking down the defense is unique to her passing game. It's almost magical to watch. The entire team's defense typically has a full preoccupation with trying to take away her open looks, which always start very soon after she crosses the half-court line. This heavy emphasis on not allowing Caitlin to be even momentarily free within logo distance of the basket, including double teaming pressure on her, requires a defensive scheme and effort that perhaps no other player in women's college basketball or in the W have to face night in, night out. This should be kept in mind as people evaluate how many points she's scoring, as she will be so aggressively have the defense focus in on her to limit her ability to score. With this amount of an extended defensive scheme as the only way to possibly slow down the Caitlin-led basketball teams, what very often occurs as she fights through and around these double teams and heavy attention being put on her, she pulls off crafty and precise passes that find wide open teammates, typically with a result of three-pointers and big Iowa scoring runs. This was especially true in college ball at Iowa, and is yet to be seen how much it plays out with the Fever. This maestro of a guard leads her team through all the defensive mazes presented by the often taller and even more athletic opponents. The cohesive play of Caitlin's college team, the Hawkeyes, found huge success whatever sold-out arenas they found themselves in. Again, it's yet to be seen how the Fever's offense will cohese in utilizing Caitlin's top-shelf elite skills. The fans of all ages know what she can do, however, and basketball around the country are riveted to their seats to see Caitlin demonstrate and celebrate her unique, wide-open, pedal-to-the-metal style of play. Anything less than this would seem to interrupt this both awesome and insatiable public outcry that's driving fans to want and need to watch her, including her putting herself all out to find ways to win basketball games. The incredibly expanded fan base for women's basketball have been making their statement, with stadiums being sold out that never have been seen before. The TV ratings for Caitlin's big games are often being seen by more people than almost any other men's team's competition in any sport. This is previously unheard of. This is a sport's transformational player with a unique ability to both expand the shooting range by yards versus feet, while also demonstrating incredible court sense, including passing with a precision to unknown spots on the court where magic suddenly happens. So, Maestro Kate has been the primary spur to this revolution of watching women's basketball like never before. It's also, I'd say, irrefutable that the women's game has developed an ongoing cascade of great players that are bringing huge game into arenas all across America. The emerging players of like USC's Juju Watkins.
Let's tip our cap to this Kansas Jayhawk squad.
South Carolina's Full Wiley.
Watkins comes away. Here's Full Wiley. Fakes the pass. Gets the finish.
Along with veterans Paige Beckers of UConn.
Paige Beckers will counter, and she will go right at Padilla and draw the foul.
These are just some of the leaders on this list, with an unending new crop of players breaking their teeth and waiting to unleash their stamp onto this fast-becoming, frantic, competitive women's game. If we think the current crop of women's basketball players is amazing, what do you think is going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years? With the excitement and the visibility of today's emerging women's hoops, it doesn't take a brain surgeon or a clairvoyant to understand a huge wave of greatness is essentially already here, is already happening. So it's not just going to be Caitlin, Angel Reese, Paige, Cameron, and Camilla. We're just seeing the first wave here. The ocean is deep and wide, and the energy contained within should not be slighted, should not be ignored. And what about Caitlin and the kids? What is it about Caitlin that has her so aware of, so alert to the specialness that she can bring to these kids that idolize her and her game? Caitlin spends time after every game walking slowly around the frenzied lines of kids and adults, calmly signing jersey after jersey, poster after poster. Who is it that is at the core of this movement that will not be denied? It's the young girls, whether they are 4 years old, 10 years old, or even the 15-year-olds. What makes these groups so special, so certain to observers that they will continue the wave of great women basketball players? It's the same thing as what we see in the lines of young kids getting Caitlin's autographs after games. I would suggest that many of these girls and boys have seemingly experienced some level of a reset point. These girls, who are especially moved by Caitlin as a role model, now seem to have a clearer sense that their limit is what and where they set their minds to. There is some nuance to how it is that a role model like Caitlin to a child can result in a big boost in their self-image and a major value to their positive growth as a person. There is a very valuable lesson to be learned when a child develops a new habit and mindset in which they experience a sense of that it's cool and it's a good and right thing to be confident and motivated when they are choosing to pursue a goal or activity. This added energy, excitement, fun, and self-confidence that many kids experience as they root for Caitlin is not a panacea for their personal development and future paths. Nevertheless, for kids to have a personal and very positive role model that their parents and society also is excited about is a wonderful way for the family to together have a shared fun and uplifting experience. Are some of these statements going pretty far out on the limb with their suggestions of impact on the kids when having Caitlin as a role model? I can understand some people are naysayers about how valuable these role models are, or are these role models worthy to even have that position that others look up to them? However, it can be fairly rationally described that the degree of unfamiliar territory that we are in regards to the previously unseen excitement and energized fan base that is surrounding Caitlin, the women's hoops game, and all of the WNBA is a newer and very uplifting addition to the culture of America. Many, many young girls are being gifted with a precious higher ceiling level for expectations and opportunities that are seen and experienced now as a more realistic and attainable. Be like Caitlin would be the expression. Fans of all ages watch on TV and the internet as Caitlin almost wills herself and her team to victory. They watch her almost superpowers in shooting and passing. A force of energy is palpable whenever Caitlin has a ball in her hand. A kind of deep appreciation and awe is available for those who are ready for the taking. The movement that is occurring is a kind of social karma. It's there and ready to be known, ready to be released. The law of conservation of energy says that energy is neither created nor destroyed. Is it not a moment to recognize, to watch, and hope that the further unleashing of energy, self-confidence, and ambition that seems ready to especially occur in young girls? I would say, as well as also in maturing women of all ages, it's all a very healthy recipe for our society. The excellence that is being released by these young kids who realize that they too can be like Caitlin will of course not be limited to the basketball court, not be limited to even sports. The energy, the freedom, the convictions that these young girls now know in a personal way can directly lead them, and perhaps all of us in some ways, to greater horizons. After all, it's up to us. It's up to how we see ourselves, how we feel about what is there for us. If we can put into place the wisdom and conviction and come to grasp the readiness and the eagerness to have fun and dream and choose big, well, what's wrong with that?